So this is the thing about John. See, John's eyes went up because he was worried about what I'm about to say. But the thing about John is also he's from what part of Connecticut now?
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
How far is that from Newtown?
From Newtown?
The state is tiny.
Nobody knows, John. Make something up.
20 minutes.
Right, okay, so
John is obsessed with science. I think it might be 19. I don't.
Yeah. I don't want to lie.
What if you're driving into the wind?
but as
Are the roads slick? Do I have change on my tires?
Is it construction season?
Nothing better than making fun of Johnny Tide.
it happens.
Wait,
regularly.
Cenk, I have a new worst moment at the company.
So I am going to share one of the worst moments at TYT.
All right.
Okay. So this is not the worst story. It's just, for me personally, one of the worst moments.
I'm right here, Anna.
It was when we hired John. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm kidding. By the way,
Oh, let me rewrite
I
some
hired
of
John.
these.
Like,
No, there's yeah.
John is here because of me. Not a big deal. But anyway.
You know why it's so much fun to bust on John? Because he doesn't like it.
We cover and return to more than I think anyone else the topic of climate change. And we are not many things, and we admit that freely, and we are mostly not scientists, so we get it wrong sometimes. We're gonna be free to admit that.
Speak
But
for yourself.
it's an incredibly important story. It's obviously the obvious, even though it's not obvious, because they talk about it on ABC in a given week for 30 seconds maybe. But it's the most important topic because it's literally about the future of our civilization, and people act as if it's like reviewing a painting from 1902. It's like, okay, I guess we got to do that a little bit. When we should be invigorated and feel like it is not just our obligation, but it is our privilege to be able to see 10 years in the future, 100 years in the future, and to not repeat the pattern of humanity going down horrible paths and having no idea that we're traveling down them. We know now what is happening, we know what's going to happen, and we know exactly what we need to do to stop it. And so in the media, we have the ability to shed a little bit of light on that. And although there's always a lot of stuff to cover, and each person here has certain topics that we want to get to, and so we fight it out in our production meetings, we make sure that we return to it regularly, and that is one of the things I'm most proud of working at TYT.
That's part of why I wanted to do this party before it's too late. Because John scared the shit out of me. We did a story the other day about the sea levels rising, and in the next 80 years they're gonna rise anywhere between 2 to 8 feet. So enjoy Miami while you can. No joke. And then after that, we did a story about how when the permafrost is gone, first of all, we know the methane is gonna get released, but it turns out there's more mercury in the permafrost than all the mercury that exists in the world currently times 2. And then they said, and it might get in the water. It's in the permafrost. When it melts, yeah, I got news for you. It's gonna get in the water. So it is, look, we have fun. We also talk about serious stuff. And it is maddening that we have these scientists, they work around the clock. I mean, they're so meticulous. And then these insane people say, no, all those people who spent all their lives doing all this math that we couldn't possibly understand are actually part of a Chinese hoax. Yes. That people that monumentally stupid are in charge. And so right now they're marching us backwards, and the scientists aren't part of a hoax. They're not lying. They did the math right. Overall, not politically, but by their nature as scientists, they are conservative. It is likely to be worse than they imagine. And once the methane is released, and now apparently the mercury, you cannot put it back in. Yeah. So that is why it is imperative that all of us fight together and win. So we gotta get this country back.
And just really fast, we obviously talk about a lot of things that we're interested in or that are important, but at the end of the day, if all we're doing is talking about something and nothing actually happens, obviously that's nothing, which is why we celebrate things like Wolfpack, Justice Democrats, groups like that where we talk about things, but then people go out and actually do things. And in climate change, we're not just talking about it. TYT literally sent a crew, an awesome, extremely talented crew, and myself to the Arctic last year. And we got to spend time with those scientists who've been bought off by the Chinese. And we're gonna have a documentary coming out in just a couple of months.
Now,
And
Johnny, was it cold when you went up there?
it was kind of cool.
Did you guys?
And you're still talking about fucking climate change.